All right, folks, we're getting into a new series. It is a best of 5 coming up with ShoWTimE versus Bly. Yeah, Emil was ready to go. This actually timed out perfectly. About like 30 seconds into the break, the other series ended. So this gave everyone the appropriate amount of time to kind of just get in and get ready to go. That being said, welcome back to the Corsair Cup Season 5 Finals. He is certainly one of the challengers through the arena. Despite the multiple times he will participate, Bly doesn't usually make it too far, much less into the finals. So getting to the semifinals is worth noting where the money is. And spawning the top right, we got the blue Zerg player, Bly. And his opponent bottom left of Sequencer, going to be the red Protoss, the Corsair Cup champion, ShoWTimE. Quick rundown of the prize pool, though, since we are finally in the money. Is 3rd and 4th place in the tournament will get $50 for their troubles playing today. 2nd place will get $100. In 1st place, we'll get $200, but also points. I bring this up because several players over these last 2 weeks have not understood that, apparently. We've actually had a lot of complaints that, A, ShoWTimE didn't play any cups this month, so why is he even seeded? And B, like, why wasn't I included with the BTSL finals, etc.? And a lot of people don't seem to understand that the champion of each monthly finals is given enough points to guarantee their participation in the next month's finals. Now, granted, there is seeding and people who can earn more points than them throughout the month, but that being said, ShoWTimE has won the last 3 Corsair Cups in a row, as we mentioned earlier. He is an absolute badass right now and looking to kick ass and take some more names. He already beat Snoot so far today, but I'm not sure I was super in love with the way Snoot was playing, so we'll see how Bly measures up to him. It is also worth noting, too, on the other side of the bracket, looks like Nurchio did beat a laser, so it'll be Nurchio versus Mana, Poland versus Poland, as that's going to be interesting. Again, it could be a PvP finals, possibly. I think favoritism down there goes to Nurchio slightly. Either way, I think that ShoWTimE, Bly, Mana, and Nurchio make for a really great top 4. I just wish one of them was Tyrion. Guys, will ShoWTimE take another Corsair Cup? This will be his 4th straight. Yeah, so Dares is our admin, for those unaware. And he's the one who actually really got excited about creating the point tracking and all this other stuff. And it has just actually been kind of crazy watching him get so excited about all this. But yeah, ShoWTimE is, of course, long-running winner, and we'll see if he can continue that through today. But I apparently missed this earlier. Thank you to Amazonix for the 16-month resub. Thank you for coming back for 16 months, even though apparently I neglect it from time to time. My bad. It is worth noting, though, ShoWTimE doesn't seem to be changing things up much. He's actually gone straight to a Stargate, similar to the way he was playing versus Snoot. So I don't think there was any real big glaring issues with the way ShoWTimE played. But he would have to change compositions and possibly timings depending on what his opponent does. And that's where this comes down to Bly over Snoot. Snoot played the same game the same way twice. And so I think it was really easy for ShoWTimE to play around that. And you guys will note, game 2, he had a much faster Twilight Council. He had a much faster Templar Archives, more specifically for Storms. And it just manhandled his opponent. If Bly doesn't play that style, if Bly's willing to get a lot more aggressive and not rely so much on Hydras, or maybe even just play more macro, I don't know, just if he plays different than Snoot, ShoWTimE will have to adjust. Bly can sometimes be downright dirty, but he's changed a lot. His playstyle's been getting a lot better. Actually, I think one of the key differences is Bly would be a guy, I think, more willing to go to Spire than anyone else in the bracket today, but that's a to be determined. But either way, he's got a lot of queens coming out. In fact, he's already pumping out additional queens plus the creep spreading ones, so spore crawlers may not be necessary if you have like 3 queens per base. I really like that he's done this to spread creep too. Sequencer does have a problem where between your main, natural, and 3rd, you're not going to easily have that creep spread, so transferring units around is a little bit more difficult. So this one tiny tumor actually is a pretty big deal. A couple of drones go down to the first Oracle. It looks like some Lings were across the map scouting. Get picked off by the Adepts. So both players absolutely in the know of what's going on. Both 3rds scouted and revealed. And 2 of the Oracles come in. Of course, the Queens are on guard. 2 more come in. Yeah, this would be really bad for ShoWTimE to commit to this. The nice thing about these queens that's going to double down for him is he can use them to fight the adepts. The problem is he can't use them to fight the adepts and the oracle, and I think ShoWTimE knows this. So I probably could have gone through with that transfer if he really wanted to. Oracle's coming to the front line. One gets picked off right away. Loving this defense out of Bly. He did take that third base so early, so he just had all this extra larva to work with, and there's not been too much of an issue for him. A couple of injects missed here and there because he's been running around with the queens, but overall, I think very solid opening for Bly. Fending off ShoWTimE pretty decently. Bottom left, that's an Overlord that's going to die. Feels bad, man. That's supply block, at least. Bly takes a quick fourth. This is... Again, I said he'd be playing a little bit different than Snoop, but the build order is completely different. The fact that he's gone for the Baneling Nest so early, layer's not even done, so no really fast Hydras, just a lot of emphasis on Lings and possibly Banelings, I guess, for the early game. That's where charge may or may not be countered. Banelings will serve an interesting purpose. If you guys haven't seen these engagements, and I mean, I've seen them a million times, so I don't think much of it. Maybe you have too, and you find this statement boring, but it is cool to me watching the difference between a Protoss player who goes charge lots and a Protoss player who knows how to control his charge lots. And I think one of the most difficult parts of that control is just not unleashing them all in an attack move and sending them to the front lines to all eat the Banelings. Keeping half of them reserved in the back, making sure that they're not charging silly and like needlessly, I think it shows the mark of a really, really good Protoss player. Not for not, Bly's not doing too bad either. But we'll see how he handles the Zealots. But Templar Archives is also in play, and I don't believe it's Storms. It is just Archons for now. I feel like your macros for Protoss players sometimes is your worst enemy when it comes to this. Because I guess if you have very few Archons and the Banelings get splashed on them, it's not a big deal. But when you have a lot of them and the Banelings splash on them, suddenly it's a lot more cost effective for the Zerg. I don't know. Same thing kind of goes for the Zealots, but caught in the middle of the map won't be a problem. There is a Sentry, a couple Zealots, and these Archons can easily deal with just Lings. Meanwhile, Warp Prism heads up to the main. Parked outside the third right now. Bly actually, I didn't realize, took a fifth too. Jesus, this guy's expanding like it's part of the swarm all over again. And a macro hatchery. Okay, so it's safe to say larva should not be a problem for Bly this game. Oh, I guess some Banelings snuck in over here. Sorry, I wasn't looking down in the south, guys. I was watching the Adepts in the north. Almost kills one of the Templar, but kills 7 probes. That's not too bad at all, actually. And as stated, Bly is very much inclined and willing to go for Mutalisks. Typically, though, what I do enjoy out of him is he'll only go for like 5 to 8. He actually doesn't go too dedicated into them. And I think this actually affords you a lot of control. You can pick off Warp Prisms, and there are 2 Warp Prisms worth noting. You can also get some of the probes if your control is good enough. Double Warp Prism could actually be really cool. One of the things I think is going to benefit greatly is, of course, 2 angles of attack, but more importantly, 2 sets of locations you can just constantly pick up and drop units with. But not going to be happening just yet. First wave of charge lots, of course, hits. Oh, God, how long does charge go for? The Lings get surrounded, the Banelings come in. They should clean this up relatively easy. The other Warp Prism moves in at the same time, however. Not that much here to defend, but enough for these Zealots to get in and get a couple of kills. Why are we talking about pillows and feathers in chat? What did I miss? Are we talking about my awesome pillow blocking AC control? Actually, real talk, guys, it's getting a bit chilly in here. I might have to turn it down. But yeah, here's the Mutas getting some of that control. There's only like a Phoenix in play, so really, if it comes down to a dogfight, Bly can take one. It's the overcharges that are a lot more scary. I really don't want him to give his Mutas away. I'm actually really concerned about this. He is forcing Stalkers, which don't have Blink. He's forcing in maybe more Phoenix, but behind all of this, he's getting probe kills, and I think that's what really matters. But if he gets too greedy for those probe kills and loses the Mutas, then none of this was worth it in the first place. Start seeing some of them get picked off here. Still investing in more Mutas, though. I really didn't expect this to go any higher than the first couple, but it's turning out to be worth it. He's killing a lot of probes in ShoWTimE. He's struggling to stop this. 28 probes have died now, less than 50 in play. I mean, we're almost at that point of the game where the low probe count isn't such a big deal because you're like, you know, there's not that many mineral patches. Who cares anyways? But this is still not being cleaned up. And ShoWTimE, as we see, great micro on these Phoenix. Excellent control, but still not enough to stop the Mutas dead in their tracks. And while this goes on, Bly's not just getting a lurker den. He's, of course, made 78 drones himself. He doesn't need to make any more workers. All the larva going forward is just going to be invested in army, and he's already maxed out, so that bank's going to accrue. In fact, Mutas just ended the game. GG. Bly takes game 1 in this best of 5. I'm honestly shocked. Not surprised, but shocked. It's like a 5 out of 10, right? Like, that was... I knew Bly was going to go Mutas at some point, but to have them get that out of control, I think was surprising for all parties involved. But anyway, ShoWTimE wants a Bizzle next, as it is loser's pick for those who aren't familiar with our format. And of course, if you are just joining us, check out the brackets by typing !brackets in chat. Let me invite everybody here to the lobby. And thank you for enduring with my allergy-ridden solo cast today, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in. How many people we got so far? 1,300. Not bad. Not bad. Players up. But yeah, we got this best of 5, another best of 5, and another best of 5. 3 best of 5s in total for the rest of the cast today. Mana, Nurtio after this, and of course, winner versus winner. Bly, get in here. Turns out 17 Celsius is pretty cold. Yo, I think 1920 is my sweet spot. 1920 Celsius is right about where I'm very happy. Let's wait on Bly to ready up. He's got to be feeling good after that first game, by the way. Like, Bly has... I feel like Bly's always had a bit of a chip on his shoulder, right? Like, he's a player who's good, but he, like, can never seem to prove it. Even if he loses the rest of the series like 3-1, I'm actually really impressed with that first game out of him. I like that a lot. Yeah. Just waiting on Bly. There we go. Someone pour ketchup on me. I don't know, Kev. What's going on, man? Why you want that ketchup so bad? All right. All right, I'll pour so much ketchup on you, brother. Don't you even worry. All right, game at number 2 of this best of 5 for the Corsair Cup Season 5 Finals. Spawning in the top left, I read his name a little bit too soon. It is the red Protoss ShoWTimE. And it's bottom right going to be the blue Zerg player Bly. And I got the camera bug. 1 sec. Bly, of course, playing for Team Expert. ShoWTimE playing for Team Arma. I actually don't know much about his team. I remember reading that he hopped on this one because it was like a fellow content creator or something that was friends with him that wanted to put him on a team. Or I don't really remember the story behind it, but I haven't seen much about it since then. I just know ShoWTimE's a really good player with or without a team, and it's not a team that makes him good. Hey, Prince Morganti, 37 months. It's been 3 years of base trade. Dude, thank you for coming back for a 3rd year. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you for 37 months. And more importantly, glad to see you got some smiles on your face. But ShoWTimE did this to Snoot as well. Interesting to see Bly follow the same path, where it's just, I don't want to deal with a probe. I don't want to waste time dancing around with this. So he goes straight to the 3rd, still takes his natural anyways. This shouldn't really upset the course of the game. Setet 68 for 16 months. This ... I'm gonna assume that's in reference to the last game. I don't know. There's a stream delay. What kills me and breaks my heart is I actually don't have great short-term memory. So a lot of the times you guys will be discussing stuff we've talked about in Twitch chat, and I'll be like reading it, going like, "Did we say that? I don't remember saying that. Did I say that? I probably said that. Fuck." And then we got people like Bacon Hero who clip all my embarrassing moments that don't help. The same with Terminator whenever he's lurking about. That's chilly, man. 25 Celsius is my ideal temp? No. See, I'm a fat guy. Fat guys don't like 25 degrees Celsius, okay? 25 degrees Celsius is super duper uncomfortable. Actually, Bly, I'm wondering if he'll get more aggressive this game or if he'll play that out the same way as before. So, to note, as I said in the first game, and I'll bring it up again now, like, ShoWTimE would probably be adjusting his playstyle based on the way Bly plays, right? The way ShoWTimE opened last game won him series versus Snoot, and it was a good way to play, but that was against Snoot. This time he goes for a much faster Twilight Council, and while I do want to say charges on the menu, boys, this could still be an old-fashioned Adept attack. Get that Resonating Glaives out and have a good time. So for Bly's sake, like, he's going to have extra queens again, I would imagine. Creep spread's going to be a pretty big deal too. But he is putting down spores already, anticipating something like an Oracle, when really this is a... Oh no, it's not an Oracle, excuse me, that was build cancels. I didn't see the Adept sneak in there. But he does scout this over here on the right side, the gateway coming down, and it is going to be Resonating Glaives. So Bly's going to have to deal with proxied Adepts that will be warped in pretty quickly. I love this position, by the way. You just squeeze in like one Adept there, no problem. Now there's some drawbacks to this, right? For ShoWTimE, it's getting aggressive and it's expensive. So you have to do things like cut the Mothership core out of your build. By doing that, no defense at home. If Bly actually counters it with like a small amount of lings, he may be able to do a significant amount of damage. However, he does have to evaluate how much he has at home to defend. As soon as that gateway finishes up, there's going to be a lot of warpins on his front doorstep, and he knows it. Let's chase down the bro for the time being. Roach Warren, almost done, but still mostly relying on lings for now. Those two scouting lings, I didn't actually expect to get past the wall, but apparently they did. So, hey, that got them 2 probe kills. Not a bad start. More lings heading across. ShoWTimE actually putting a pylon down here. I love this move, and the Mothership core's on the way. So, you know, his aggression was scouted. I think he kind of knew the jig was up the second it stopped being a surprise. But Bly reacting appropriately. I really like his idea not to stay at home in Super Turtle mode. I don't think it would work out for him. Gateway's going to go down, but if ShoWTimE's paying attention, he'll put another down behind it and stop this from getting out of hand. Bly on the other hand, I'm missing hand. Bly on the other foot, there you go, has defended really well back at home. And we'll see the remnants of a gateway floating away. ShoWTimE does still have that SimCity set up, so he won't be going down anytime soon. Man, it's really interesting watching everyone talk about their different temperature preferences, but you know, more on that after. This was a ling slide by that shouldn't have happened. ShoWTimE had a force field ready to go. He had a sentry down. He had 2 Adepts that were supposed to be blocking the doorway, but they're too skinny. They haven't eaten enough food. This is bad. Meanwhile, Bly, now with finally Roaches, can actually clean up the proxy. You couldn't do this with lings because of these hold position Adepts, and that was a really smart move out of ShoWTimE to note, but this is getting pretty bad. The lings didn't cause so much damage, though, actually. I guess I thought that was going to do a lot more with how many got into the base. We just looked away, and they got cleaned up pretty quick. So one of the things for Bly that's kind of unfortunate coming out of this, he did cut a lot of drones, right? He saw the proxy. He didn't overreact, I feel, but he reacted with army, so he didn't really have that many workers for 3 bases. Only just now finishing up that extra round of 7 or 8, brings him up to about almost even with ShoWTimE. In fact, income graph should show, yeah. Blip, 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 blip. All kinds of red, because it's been pretty favorable for the Protoss, all things considered. BaseTradeTV is my porn. What is it to you all? No. That actually hurt my throat. I should not have done that. I like the Ravagers quite a bit. Break the force fields. Just links a little bit more power. They surround some of these stalkers, so freebie pickoffs. Not freebie, I guess he does lose some links for it, but very, very good pickoffs for Bly. ShoWTimE's going to get aggressive with the Warp Prism. I don't know how I feel about this, actually. If Bly had scouted this early enough, this would have been a really easy move to keep ShoWTimE at home by attacking. But the fact that this is already across the map, and he pulled his army back home, I don't think Bly's sweating it. He might not know where the Warp Prism was going, but I do believe he saw the edge of it when it was out and about. In fact, yeah, roaches and raptors definitely know. Of course, part of the problem isn't just dealing with what's inside of it, which is a lot of adepts. It is the big warpins that usually surround this. But not warpins, just micro. Going back to ShoWTimE, he is getting tech out of this, but this was a pretty dedicated early attack that didn't do much. He's trying to make up for it now. I mean, I shouldn't say it didn't do much. Well, it didn't kill a lot of drones. It did force a lot of larvae to be not spent on drones, so inadvertently kind of kills drones, I guess. But Bly doesn't care about that charge. Bly does not care about the adepts of resonating glaives because neither of these units shoot up, nor do the immortals, so despite the fact that there's some pretty nice immortal production, it's the Stargate that I think is going to be what this game falls to, as Bly will try and win this again with the mutas by the seams of things. So it's been pretty quick to pull his drones, but ShoWTimE still managed to whittle out about 12 kills from this. Ling attack to the third. Should get shut down. ShoWTimE may have been able to catch some of the force fields and some of those lings, but yeah, not the case. Spire's in a little bit less than conventional of a position. ShoWTimE actually has... Oh, he'll see it now, so never mind. See, I wasn't sure if he'd know what was going on. I do love confirming the Spire completion. He throws down a second Stargate immediately, though. A lot of Phoenix will be the solution that he didn't have last game. Oh, he hallucinated a Colossus at some point. Alright, then. But, okay, this is where I gotta go back to Bly. And this goes back to more like just seeing Bly play a lot more than necessarily knowing Bly's playstyle. And for him... Again, like 8 mutas, 5 mutas. This is kind of what I expect him to get away with. And that's what he might be trying to do this game instead of investing heavily into them. As those lings died earlier, he did see the second Stargate, but yo, it gets canceled in ShoWTimE. Kind of the mind game jukes here, right? Because as far as Bly is concerned, right now he thinks back at home ShoWTimE is like double pumping Phoenix. And there's going to be a lot of them, right? That's going to be problems, so the mutas won't get much done. There's still going to be some Phoenix in play, but I think enough for the Mutalisks to actually work around. Oh, yeah, thank you, TLO, for that host. Hello, all of TLO's viewers. I hope you guys like Zerg. There's a lot of it on the menu today. We got this ZVP here and now. Bly's up 1-0 if you're just joining the stream. Best of 5 for the Corsair Cup season finals. And then on the other side of the bracket, we have Mana versus Nerdshio waiting. But, man, there's 24 Banelings on that front line. They're about to have their upgrades, too. So, ShoWTimE tries to pounce on this early. The storms are real good. This cancels a lot. It doesn't kill a lot of Banelings, unfortunately, but it does cancel a lot of them. So they still don't... It doesn't have them for the front lines. The Phoenix are proving to be a nuisance. I'm surprised he's not crucibiling them down. I mean, the thing is, when you're graviton beaming, you can't move. So a couple crucibiles and that Phoenix is wishing it didn't. But hey, he gets the Warp Prism, and that's one of the nice benefits to having the mutas. Army Supply definitely favoring Bly here, although Army Supply may not be as big of a factor as Army Type. A lot of storms to this Templar. All he's got to do is land like 3 or 4 good ones. Wash off those lings, get some damage on the Hydras, stop the Banelings from rolling in. Which, by the way, they are going to be trying to just roll in. So Bly's got to pull back before he gets caught in the force field. Busts open that wall with those Banelings, kills a lot of the Zealots too. Gateway's all depowered, and suddenly ShoWTimE's production takes a massive hit. Immortals on the backside will catch some of the army as they move in, but Bly's getting on top of the rest of whatever's in the main. Probes are not actually going down that bat. Oh, this is bad for Bly. I thought this looked so good for Bly right off the bat. Thought he was going to get in here and totally eviscerate ShoWTimE, but ShoWTimE, well, maybe he'll be down in some probes at the end of this. He's going to have a fantastic standing army. Bly down to less than half the supply as far as like army's concerned, and moving towards that hive tech, this is a big vulnerability. If ShoWTimE decides to counterattack at all, even if it's just like a Zealot run by, I don't know that Bly can stop it. But he did take a 5th base. He's got 4 bases mining, and he's not exactly without money right now. If Bly can find a way to stop this counterattack from killing him straight up, get to those Broodlords, get anything else in play, I think he'll be in a pretty good spot. That's a pretty tall order, and that's a lot of Immortals still coming to the front line. Don't judge that hallucinated Colossus. That's forever ago, man. That's forever ago. Actually, who was it? Somebody... I can't remember which Protoss player it was we were casting recently. They hallucinated probes, and I kind of forgot because it's been so long since anyone's done it. If you hallucinate a probe, you get like 4 probe hallucinations, right? If you hallucinate Zealots, I think you get like 2 Zealot hallucinations. But the cool thing about it is you can then send them off in 4 different directions to scout for proxies. That was actually like the coolest proxy suspicion I've ever seen. And it's not super important, but there's also not a lot going on right now. So just sharing that awesome story. Corruptors actually take out a good chunk of Phoenix. Not that Phoenix are going to be that dangerous to the Broodlords in the first place, but still remove them while they can. Bantleys are going to crash into some of the probes. They do have +2 melee, so without armor upgrades, they will one-shot a lot of those probes. But Broodlords might be on the menu, so are Tempests soon to be. A second Stargate starts up. Same with the Fleet Bacon. And, whoops, what's the building tab? Is it T? T. Yeah, that is the second Stargate. So we knew he canceled one earlier. I just wasn't sure if maybe he snuck another one in while we were looking. Production for those Tempests is going to be fairly limited. I think Blythe actually getting these Broodlords out should be able to take a pretty good defensive fight, but it is still a matter of like not overextending, not being out of position. And while Broodlords are good, if they get caught in the open, they can be really, really bad. I like this attack from the backside, actually. A couple of Banelings and Lings take out some of the Templar. That was a really nice fight. And, of course, while there were storms and attempted Archon blasts, the Broodlords don't give a good gosh darn. They keep pushing forward. Slow push that it is. ShoWTimE's only on 4 bases, so if he loses control of this mineral line, which is his most saturated base, with the most mineral patches available, this could go very badly for him. Blythe is starting to overextend, and I am worried because you look at his income, much less his current bank, it's just not good. Sorry. Poor kid Blythe. If he can get this Nexus and fall back, I think he'll be in a great spot, but if he loses anything, I don't know that he can replace it. Still, though, it looks like Archons aren't alone, not going to get the job done. So Colossus, the Tempest come out perhaps a little too late. In fact, the Queens can transfuse the Tempest damage with somewhat relative ease. Blythe not super hard committing to this, but he does want to get that Nexus down. Looks like there's an attack over here with this one on. A couple of charge lots, but really nothing at the end of the day. He really wants that Nexus, but he doesn't want to overcommit to it. It's so low, but it's not going to die just yet unless he wants to sacrifice some Broodlords for it. So now kind of kiting. And I say kiting with the biggest air quotes I possibly can because it's the slowest runaway of all time. But killing some Archons and trading out is not too bad. Tempests are still a problem, though. Now, one Zealot, by the way, went from killing like a couple of drones to like 14. Hello? Oh, God. That thing needed to be cleaned up. That's problems. Well, money's not been a problem for Blythe up to this point. 206 Lings have died. Now 7 Broodlords join them. It's been a pretty big scuffle for both players on both sides of the map. I think ultimately for ShoWTimE, with things like Templar, with things like Tempest, he should be able to take better and more cost-effective engagements. Do you really get 4 probes? Yeah, if you hallucinate... So, if you guys have never done it, there's like a unit tester, right? You can play around with it. It's the exact same balance and patches and everything that's in the game. And you can make sentries. And if you do, you'll see that when you hallucinate a probe, you actually get 4 probes. So, I think it's 2 Zealots, 4 probes, and then 1 of everything else. I could be mistaken. I'm not sure what causes that or what the value of it is, but I think it's really neat. One of the things I used to love to do when I'd, you know, we've all done this at some point, right? Even if you're in Bronze League, you'll find a friend who's somehow worse than you at the game, and you'll play against them, and you'll troll them a bit. And one of the things I used to really do, I love doing, is I'd play Protoss back in Wings of Liberty, Hot Stays. I'd go Mass Sentry, and I would just hallucinate so much that even if they had detection, they couldn't physically push through the hallucinations to hit the army. Also, I'm not certain, but I think that's just a misclicked manual detonation out of Blythe. It may have hit some Zealots. We caught the tail end of it. I don't actually know. Vipers were put into play, which I thought was an interesting choice. A lot of players kind of avoid them due to the fact that Templar with feedbacks are kind of make these units a bit of a joke. But hey, if they get the odd abduct off on the Tempest, I think it'll be worth it. Not to mention, if you're casting a bunch of feedbacks, no, it's not an expensive spell, but it does mean possibly like 1 less storm, 2 less storms, depending on how many you use, how many you burn. Warp Prism is going to be dealt with pretty promptly. Not fast, mind you, but promptly, because he does have a couple of Corruptors. ShoWTimE's also starting to plant... Oh, God. He's planting the seeds to the Golden Armada. So behind this, he starts putting out a lot of Void Rays. I think this is an absolutely smart choice when you're coming up against Corruptors. But the Mothership starts too. We have the Fleet Beacon in play. He may transition if he feels confident enough to get more, but he is a little bit starved for gas, so I don't know how much he can really afford to get. It's worth noting too, there was a patch recently in the game. It's still fairly new. We haven't seen it used more than once or twice. But when you prismatically align, aka go Super Saiyan mode with a Void Ray, it does a lot of extra damage, yes, but now it's like a 40% slow. It's kind of like watching a queen off of creep. It's pretty bad, actually. But if the Corruptors want to be in range to fight, they're going to get fried alive is what it comes down to. A couple Archon Blasts here, the odd Void Ray, melting beam of death there. It does have to chew through the Corruptors, unfortunately. It does not have the army. ShoWTimE, that is. Like, he doesn't have 15 Void Rays ready to go. He's got 2. Literally 2. Well, Bly, of course, expanded really early. ShoWTimE expands really late, but this will be both players catching up on overall map control. Corruptors and Broodlords head to the front line. This is really interesting. Detection is gonna be a big issue here. Just gonna recall out of there. Play it safe. Detection could possibly be an issue for Bly. He does have a couple of Overseers, but I don't think he actually got Overlord speed this game. Yeah, so they're a bit slow. Charge lots to the south. Got another kill on the hatchery. Yikes. That's where Bly needs to start throwing down a couple of spine crawlers here and there. Revelation has tagged the majority of the Broodlords too. And I'm really sad that Bly's not using that new Broodlord skin. It's like the aquatic skin. It's so perfect for this map. I'm really sad actually. We're casting the WCS Valencia Challenger qualifiers yesterday, and there's like this big rule about not using custom skins, and all players must disable them. I'm like, no. Some of them look really good. Broodlord numbers certainly look scary. Unfortunately, unless you can see what they're shooting, it's not going to really matter. A couple slow units like Templar might get dragged behind outside of the Mothership's detection. Feedbacks go down to the Vipers. He does abduct the Mothership. It's going to be a recall, but oh, he almost gets the kill. So close. Storms continue to fire. The Corruptors are, of course, taking out the Tempest before they go down. Interesting trades here out of ShoWTimE and Bly, but in the meantime, Broodlords start sieging up the base, and these cannons will not hold. Not against these Broodlords. It's going to take the Tempest and the Archons to make this happen. I don't know if I can say they will. There's so many Overseers here, detection should not be an issue. In fact, he takes out a majority of the air units, but still, Archons get underneath the Broodlords, and Stalkers are chasing in the right side. The Void Rays are still in play, and the Broodlords have to fall back. In fact, even the Phoenix could chase them down. Bly had a really good fight coming for him, but this did not follow through. He's actually now in a lot of trouble, I feel. People in chat saying Bly won't win this game. Yo, let me fill you in on a little secret about Bly, okay? 90% of the games he wins, people say Bly won't win this game, okay? And I've seen Bly scrap out some really awful, just horrific fights and win a game with him. So, is ShoWTimE looking better? Upgrades, units, composition, Golden Armada? Yes. Check mark in all categories. But it's Bly. He does have this little bit of a wildcard element, so I won't count him out until he's actually down and out. Also, thank you to Illusion Clock for that Twitch Prime sub. Twitch Prime recently rolled out in like 200 countries plus all over the world. So if you guys have been stuck with Turbo or you haven't had the availability to use Prime, I would suggest getting on it. You can go to twitchprime.com to learn more on how to connect to your account and use it. But yo, there are just some straight up benefits that we get. Like, I don't care. Like, we're going to be honest, I don't really care what Twitch gets from it. We get free money from you guys once a month if you choose to sub with it. You help us with ads. Well, you get ad-free viewing. It still counts as having watched the ad. There's a lot of huge cool benefits to Twitch Prime, so definitely worth checking out if you're already using Amazon Prime, because it costs nothing to connect your accounts. Carriers, of course, have been made in quite heavy numbers. I kind of like the mutas and I kind of don't at the same time. They're not going to be for fighting. The thing about ShoWTimE's army is, as big as it is, as strong as it is very slow. And while Recall may be able to take you from base to base, generally speaking, I think the mutas should be able to get some pretty good harassment in. Spine cars coming down are not going to be enough. This base is going to go down. This was a very important base to Bly in terms of money especially, but yikes. ShoWTimE's starting to run a little bit wild with this game. It's a comment I made a little bit earlier, but just kind of revisiting it here, and that is, you know, army supply isn't so bad, but army type is a really big deal. Bly's flitting around with a lot of slow-moving broodlords, 9 of them to be precise, and while there might not be tempests and such in play, carriers and void rays can certainly deal with the broodlords just as well. The mutas get caught within the interceptors too, and of course the Phoenix come to clean them up. The whole point of the mutas was they're supposed to stay away from the army and fight around it. Top right is going to get a cancel. ShoWTimE is paying attention. That was not a kill. That was a cancel. A lot of cannons here. Oh, geez. A lot of cannons here, actually. Yeah, one lone Phoenix could easily take out these last 2 mutas. This is looking bad for Bly. He's got no gas to really speak of. He's trying his best to hang in there. It's not really opportunities for harass, which is what I think makes this so difficult for him. And of course, Vipers keep getting wrecked by the Templar. Although, if Bly had better detection, and this isn't really his fault, this is the benefit of the mothership, right? He'd realized there really weren't that many Templar. Sends in the Banelings first. Ultra Mega Kamikaze takes out this Templar. Suddenly the Vipers can start abducting everything one at a time, but concern is I don't think he's thinking about that right now. Just assumes, okay, there's Templar, I gotta stay back, gotta stay safe. They are looking for those feedbacks too. They dive really forward to that front line, but stealth gonna save him from the broodlings more than anything else. Base on the left. Oh, it feels bad. He just got that up and running, ShoWTimE. How could you do this? He'll get a cancel on the top right, but ShoWTimE's going to kill that +3 weapon upgrade. ShoWTimE's just going to be able to kill this hatchery and the Baneling Nest. Like, oh god, this Zealot run by is actually going to do so much. Looks like things got a little bit panicked. I wasn't quite paying attention to what was going on in the bottom left, but he did recall. It looked like he was safe. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe he just wanted to save another base. But the +3 weapons is denied at this point. The Baneling Nest might get shut down too. The Zealots are taking a really good fight. I feel like Bly's strengths really lie in the mid game, really lie in the early game, and then it's kind of hard to play late game. And not because like Zerg is imba or not, or Bly is good versus bad, but it's more that ShoWTimE just has this like almost unbeatable army. I say almost because, well, there are some people in chat who are also mocking Bly's playstyle here. He's done some really cool things in the past, and the combination of Infestors and Lurkers and otherwise have defeated air in ways that you wouldn't really think they would, but they did. Actually reminds me a little bit back in the day. We had like Kane versus Stardust in one of these matchups where even though Stardust went like mass Golden Armada, Kane just went Swarm Host and was able to win the game. Yo, who the hell is this sub? 2 months? Duties? Duddles? Who the hell is Duddles? Thanks for the tip. Amazon Prime to Twitch Prime for free. Who the hell is Duddles? Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Looks like the mothership will finally go down. This was a really nice pickoff, but the Immortal run by in the bottom left is far more devastating. This base out of Bly is one of the only bases he has left that has a lot of mineral patches. The other bases have pretty much been mined out, denied mining, or are getting shut down. The carriers are falling back. This is a little bit awkward, though. Corpses flying all over the place. Not that many interceptors. Can't really fight the Corruptor's head on. He knows that, too. That's why he's running the way he is. The Archons could get connections if he can get to those cannons for safety. He will keep the carriers alive. That is too many cannons for Bly to fight. And yeah, now that Void Ray just kind of turrets on top of everything. Says, please shoot that carrier. Don't shoot my Void Ray. Not a problem. And now he gets chased back. This is bad. This is probably game for Bly. He doesn't have the gas to remake anything else at this point. He doesn't have the minerals to do circling run-bys. In fact, he can't even build a new hatchery. GG. All right, that's a pretty good first couple of games, tied up 1-1. It's now been 40 minutes since our last break, though, guys, so we're going to go to a small commercial. Actually, it might be a little bit longer. I'm going to be right back myself. I need some more tissue. I've run out, and we'll be back. We'll be back for game 3 here in a bit. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Ooh, these allergies are kicking my ass. I'm going to grab some Tylenol, too, hoping that helps. Anyways, they want Odyssey, so let's get this show on the road. So we got Nathanius joining us in chat. Holy shit, the real BaseTradeTV? No, this is an imposter. Guys, can we go slather Nate in chat? Please, thank you. Get some catch-ups going. Ace K, Ace K, Ace K all over the place. All over the place. Where's Bly and where is ShoWTimE? Okay, so I know that break was a little bit longer than expected. If you guys are just joining us, it is tied up 1-1 in this best of 5 semifinals. The other half of the bracket, of course, has Nurchill and Mana waiting on us. Apologies to both of them for taking a bit longer than expected, but hey, we're about ready to go as soon as the players are. Say when ready. Ugh. But yeah, little by little, we're starting to whittle away at Nexikuro's health. 9,000 health presently. Save me, guys. Save me. He's holding me hostage. And I'm just waiting on Bly. Okay, well, whenever Bly's back, we'll get into game. Thank you to Goons Your Daddy for the Twitch Prime sub. Glad to have you on board. Welcome to the Base Trade Brigade, along with all the others who have joined us today. I'm not sure where Bly is, though. Bly, Bly, Bly. Out that door, baby. Bly, Bly, Bly. How has someone not made that like a parody thing? There we go. All right. Took a bit of time. Some folks talk about ads in chat. I guess a lot of the folks who listen to us regularly know how this works, but for those who don't, ads pay myself, Zombie Grub, and that's how we get by month to month. Things like subs and stuff usually tend to go towards tournaments, fundraising, events, and other cool things, and bits are just icing on the cake for us. So those who don't enjoy watching ads, you want to find a way to block us. We can't stop you, but I would like to just ask kindly you consider possibly taking a moment and disabling your ad blocks or U-blocks or whatever you're using, because it does mean that we get to keep doing what we do. But ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom right, we do have the red Protoss player. It's ShoWTimE. Did you just say slather? You sick fuck. What up, Nate? How you doing? Top left, though, it's going to be the Blue Zerg player, Bly. So it's looking pretty clear to me. Let's reset the camera there. If Bly can get a good mid-early game, especially what we took out of game 1, this won't be so bad for him. But if he has to fight the late game, and if he has to deal with ShoWTimE and his Golden Armada, like it's going to be bad news bears more times than not. Bly's actually gotten a little bit cheesy this game, by the way. You know what's great with cheese, though? Macaroni. And you know what's better with both of those? Ketchup. Oh my god, oh my god, this combination of emotes. Sargasm, Ace K, and Ace... is very ace-lude. Anyways, gold base taking it away is a little bit cheeky. We've actually, I think it was like No Regret or somebody we're casting did this, and it's not the craziest thing, and it's not the most out there thing to do, but it is very far from your main, so you're not gonna have queens supporting this with defense anytime soon. Any units that need to come over to defend it are gonna be rough to do, and of course, a drone transfer means a lot of lost mining early on. I'm not sure how worthless this really is gonna be for Bly, but if ShoWTimE wants to turn the dial up to 10 and attack him, he could punish him for it. Also, sorry, because it's been brought up in chat, just to touch base on that ads thing one last time. We do not advertise ad-free subscriptions. The only way to get ad-free viewing on BaseTradeTV is with Twitch Prime or Twitch Turbo, but Twitch Turbo is being like phased out. So again, maybe it'll come a point in our lives where we've got such big sponsorship money we can just not even run ads in the first place. But until that day comes, even if you subscribe, you will still get ads on the channel. This has been a bit of a I was surprised. One of our 12-month subs was complaining about that last night. And I don't dislike him or anything for it. But I was like, dude, we have never, ever said that it was like ad-free for subs. So, yeah, that's kind of on you. By the way, for those who don't know, when we talk about ad-free stuff with Twitch Prime, that affects all streams, not just the one you're sub to. So if you have Twitch Prime, you will not see any ads on Twitch, period. Poor Overlord's gonna die. Bly really wanted to get in here to scout, see what was coming in the backside. Confirming whether it's a Robo versus a Stargate is not nearly as important as seeing that Twilight Council with a Chrono Boost on it. Twilight Council alone, not such a big deal. Chrono Boost, kind of is. So Bly's gonna not get to see this, and this also gives ShoWTimE the freedom to throw down like 6 extra gateways in the main if he wants to. He doesn't necessarily have to do it out here. And, well, he might not need a proxy for crazy super warp ins. The thing is that gold base is so exposed, and ShoWTimE's got to know this. This isn't even like a question of like maybe. What is rapid casting doing here? This is no place for memes. Get out of here, kid. And quit trying to make Rifkin drop a real thing. Okay? Dartosis Pylon. As much as I avoid ever actually talking about it, right? At least it made sense because it came off the back end of a pylon actually existing and actually fucking up. Rifkin dropping? I never drop. I play fucking mech 9 times out of 10. And you know what you don't do with mech? You don't drop. You can't have a Rifkin drop. Quit trying to make fetch a thing. Anyways, good to see you, Rapid Casting. Hope you're doing well, man. The Adepts moving across the map out of ShoWTimE, I don't think are going to get a whole hell of a lot done, but I do love this kind of change-up, right? Dark Shrine coming out behind this. Now, if you do Archons in the classic Warp Prism style, drag and drop, fine. More power to you. But I think because there's no Stargate play and Bly's not playing Paranoid, there's no Spore Crawlers in each of these mineral lines. There's not going to be much in the way of detection. Oh, I guess there's a Spore Crawler over here, excuse me. So those DTs might just actually get to be Dark Templar for once and be the ultimate Protoss annoyance. Either way, Warp Prism starts heading out, and that Dark Shrine should time out by the time that's ready to warp in down the main. While that goes on, of course, it's all about these Adepts. There's unfortunately too much in the terms of defense around this gold to really just get in there and cause damage, but either these end up being a really great distraction and the DTs in the main get to go buck wild, or DTs draw all the attention away and the Adepts get to kill everything in the gold. There's a really dangerous two-pronged attack set up here out of ShoWTimE, and Bly, he may have seen that Warp Prism coming with that Overlord in the center there, but I don't believe there's a Spore in the main. The layer's still not done, so he doesn't have Overseer capabilities just yet. Still be a little bit of time for those warp in. These DTs could probably focus down the layer if they really wanted to with a little bit of help, but gonna kill the Spore Crawler, drive off mining, and that was a straight up kill, not a cancel. The Adepts did try and shade through, but realizing that the defense was too thick, he ends up running through as well. But ShoWTimE's gonna back away from this. I think he had a little bit more staying power with those DTs, but I guess not willing to risk it. It's not a bad thing to risk, but it's also not worth risking if you feel more confident that you can get just a lot more done with the Archons, I suppose. Archon and the SCV. It's like a story. Thank you very much. for the 4-month resub. Says, nice job, BaseTradeTV. Keep it up. How you doing? How you doing? The Adepts get through to the natural. Couple of shots fired. Drone's not really in danger. The drones are pulled from the main too because the Archons are still being dragged and dropped all over the place. ShoWTimE's. Oh, Warp Prism goes down. Oh, this is huge. This is a huge deal for Bly. So first off, that Spore Crawler had no business being there, but it's a good thing that it was. Sniping that Warp Prism was huge. Denying both the Archons, even bigger. ShoWTimE was meant to not just kill a lot more units with what he had through the Adepts and the Archon, but to buy a lot more time. His army supply now is pitiful on the other side of the map. We're going to be honest, it's like less than 30. And while the type of army supply is strong through Immortals and Archon, it's really not much. If Bly had flooded anything, it would be annoying enough to deal with as is, much less these Roaches and Lings. But this is being paired up with a Spire, so behind all of this, ShoWTimE is going to be focused on getting units that fight ground, right? He's going to be getting more Immortals. He's going to be getting those charge lots. He's going to be getting things to kill the Ravagers and the Roaches, and he's not going to be thinking about those Mutas. And Bly, as we saw, is really good with his Mutas. Even in the game he lost, he was still getting some pretty good damage with said Mutas. Rifkin started playing mech to stop doing Rifkin drop then? Rifkin never played non-mech in the first place! Hey, this fight ends up going pretty well for ShoWTimE, all numbers considered. Actually, I'm really worried for Bly. This was a bad attack. The Ling giveaway was fine, but when he started to lose all the Roaches and Ravagers, that's when this got nasty. Good force fields combined with the Immortal damage. This was a really great defense out of ShoWTimE. I love the predictive drops out of Bly too. This is a guy. Bly should play with Reapers. I'm just saying. Bly should play with Reapers. But the Mutas are being swamped into. I'm surprised this gold base actually got to mine out, by the way. He got away with so much out of this gold base that he never really should have. But this also gets a little bit awkward for Bly because he had a huge adrenaline boost, so to speak, when it comes to income from this for the first half of the game. Now that's gone. But, sorry, again, I can't reach that mute button in time, guys. It's just not going to happen. Mutas diving for the Warp Prism is a really way to cut out reinforcements, but they lose themselves to the Archons, so now there's nothing left to free fire on top of the Immortals. And I think that the Glaive Worm alone, just triggering the barrier, would be worth it, but unfortunately, so much is already gone down for Bly, and he might just be absolutely SOL. No gold-based income to fall back on, no hatcheries, and no larva, no units. In fact, all the Mutas pretty much have been taken out. There's a stark lack of anti-air. So even a couple of Mutas could have changed things. But ShoWTimE will take a 2-1 lead now in the series. Thank you very much to Marish for the 175 bits. Vohayo! Vohayo! You know what kills me? This is what I got to know in chat, okay? Guys, there's the Vohayo emote, okay? The one that was just cheered. In your opinion, because this is like, I swear, this is like a magic eye illusion thing. Is the emote going like this? And there's a wrench coming out of her back? Or is the wrench her second arm and she's going like this? 1 for this, 2 for this, okay? Let me know what you guys think in chat. Blood Boil gonna be the next map. This is selected out of Bly, and this is his last life. So 2-1 in the favor of ShoWTimE, and this best of 5 could send him straight to those finals. And as we said, like, ShoWTimE is the big dog here. He has won the last 3 Corsair Cup season finals in a row. Sorry, let me just invite all the players that I walk and talk. And I think he is just looking so good today. All right, so everyone ready, guys? Booyah. All right, so this could be the last game in the series, or maybe Bly makes a really sick comeback. Either way, I think it's been a pretty good best of 5 so far. All right, I was gonna message Dares here. So Rifkin drop equals really stupid Doom drop? No, a Rifkin drop is literally not a thing. Like this. Oh my god, I'm so tilted right now. Like, okay, You just have to understand. I get a lot of you have probably never watched me play, right? I actually streamed a lot of my games. Pretty much every season I've gone for Masters. I've streamed all the matches for it. I am the guy that will do proxy battle cruisers. I am the guy that will sit there and play the worst cancerous styles of mech turtle there are, okay? There is no bio play with Rifkin. Well, there is now, actually. That's the exception, I suppose. Maybe Rifkin drops will be an actual thing in the caster tournament. But, yo, everything up to now has been mech, more mech, all right? There's no Rifkin drops. This is why it's so frustrating. But, yo, okay. Game number 4. Spawning at the bottom right. We got the red Protoss ShoWTimE. And his opponent on his last life in the top left, we do have the blue Zerg player, Bly, who has, at this point, at least earned $50, even if he dies here. $50 for 3rd and 4th place in the tournament. So I asked, of course, if you guys thought the Vo Hi Yo emote, whoops, was number 1 for like 1 arm or number 2 for 2 arms. But what's crazy is it is actually number 1. So that wrench on her back is because she's like one of the Japanese tech support people. And if you actually use her cheer motes, you can see clearly, even if you don't use the cheer motes, but you like preview them, you can see clearly that it is 1 arm raised in the air, not 2. But my whole life, I thought this was just like some sort of like robo amputee cyborg that had 2 arms in the air, kind of doing one of these faces, you know? So it's just funny how many people are also under the same misconception as I was, because that is not even close. That is like a billion 2s and like 3 1s in chat. Okay, 3 might be embellishing. I'm sorry guys, my my allergies. Twitch affiliate doesn't seem hard to get. No, Duddles, the requirements for Twitch affiliate are really low. It's like you stream, I think like 1 or 3 times a week. You have like 5 concurrent viewers, I think. Twitch affiliate, it kills me, right? I'm gonna be salty. I get to be salty. All right, guys, hold on. We're sponsored by Twitch. I had the long grind to get here, so I'm gonna be salty for a sec about this. First off, I want to make it clear. I'm very happy for all the people who get Twitch affiliate, and the more people who can make money on Twitch means it's a bigger, viable industry. So we all win at the end of the day, right? But back in the day, back in my day, okay, to get partnered, you had to have 500 concurrent viewers 3 to 4 times a week. And then after that, if you wanted to get upgraded to the premium contract or whatever you want to call it for the higher CPM and all that, you had to have like 5,000 viewer concurrence 3 times a week, okay? This was an insane grind when you had half the amount of people or less than half the amount of people who use Twitch today overall. The viewers just weren't there for it. So to get partnered back then, it wasn't just that you made money on Twitch, it really fucking meant something, right? Now the requirements to get partnered are like, I think like 100 concurrent viewers of the same viewers 3 times a week or something. And to be affiliates, you get most of the partner stuff unlocked nowadays. Like really, affiliates are partnership light, and it takes almost nothing. So again, we all win. We all benefit the more people there are making money on Twitch, making a living on Twitch, streaming on Twitch, right? But for me, I get really, I'm not gonna lie, petty and salty when I see these jerk-off sessions on Twitter and on Reddit, like, oh guys, guess who got affiliate? That's such a big accomplishment. Oh, give me all the praise. And I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. But congratulations, and I'm very happy for you, you know? Sorry. Had to get that out there. It has been a chip on my shoulder. I just can't. Anyways, Stargate's coming down behind us, and worth noting Stargate's plural, as he adds the ship upgrades really quickly. ShoWTimE may invest in a lot of Phoenix early on, and this might be a problem for him actually. If Bly's going to flood Lings and more Lings, the Phoenixes won't get the job done. But if this is going to be for anything else, if Bly goes Roaches, if Bly goes Hydras, if Bly goes Mutas, these Phoenix are going to win the game. Straight up. With +1 weapons, that'll lead to a very quick +2, of course, and so forth, but right now it's just Lings, and the Adepts are holding at the wall, no problem, and they're holding firmly. Thank you for that little cheer, Nate. The little wave. There you go. Actually, have you guys seen, I don't know if you noticed, they added a lot of new cheer modes recently, and the PJ Salt one, well, I don't think anyone's going to be donating that or cheering that anytime soon. You can still preview the 10,000 Salt fucking overload. It's crazy. Anyways, this gold base for Bly I thought was going to be punished a lot earlier. He did this last game and it was unpunished too. So ShoWTimE, this kind of reminds me a bit on Overgrowth, where you would see about half the Protoss players out there dive in with Stalkers head first and try and shut down gold bases, and the other half would just play around it. And the thing about a gold base is it's not as crazy as a lot of people want to think it is. It just means like a fully saturated base with less workers, opens you up for more army supply, and it can give you cool leads for sure. But there is no necessity to shut it down. Now, there's the necessity to deal with this massive all incoming, though. Bly has no plans to upgrade behind this. He's up 40 army supply. But there's not a lot of anti-air here. And I think with the amount of Phoenixes that he should be able to get, ShoWTimE should be able to just crowd control most of the nasty parts of this army. Lifts up the Ravagers. Of course, the problem is when you do have Phoenixes lifting units, they can't move, and that makes them prime targets for the Corrosive Biles. Overcharges are plentiful, but these gateways are also vulnerable. The Corrosive Biles are kill these gateways, I think, pretty easily. Phoenixes have got energy, but they don't want to be sitting there out in the open. He knows this too. The longer he gives Bly, the more chances Bly's actually going to have lots of Ravagers, more Ling Floods. I'm really worried about this. The overcharges were held a bit late. One of these pylons is already really low. Goes down pretty much quickly and immediately. Last overcharge is popped. Phoenix is lifting up the Ravagers best they can, but this army supply from Bly just doesn't seem to go down. He loses units and replaces them almost immediately. ShoWTimE kind of like half committed to this Stargate play. I think maybe if he had fully committed, this wouldn't have been so bad for him, but unfortunately, he's going to die. GG's get called, and Bly will tie the series up now 2-2 and take us to that ace match. But yo, gonna go to commercial break as we get into game 5. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, folks, we're back, and it's game number 5. Things are tied up 2-2 here in the Corsair Cup Grand Season Finals. Quick, this is the semifinals, as I just realized I misspoke, but I just got to reply to somebody really quick. One sec. Okay, that's good. Anyways, big thank you to Bangdoza for that 9-month resub, kicking off here into the final game. Things tied up 1-1. Dares, just do me a favor and unmute yourself and tell me if it was Robo. That's what we're going to do. So, to avoid the issue here of going super Robo and ruining the cast for 2.5 minutes, guys, I've got Dares with me on the call muted. He's our admin. He's an awesome kid. You'll hear his voice chirp in, though, if my voice goes robotic, to let me know so that I can reset everything and not have you guys deal with headache for the next while. But, yeah, there's a stream delay, so you still may hear a bit of it. Anyways, things have been tied up 2-2, as said. A bit of a late intro as he takes a very, very strange gold base. In the bottom left, it's Bly. With his opponent in the top right, going to be none other than ShoWTimE. Now, Bly keeps going for these gold bases, and I'm really not convinced, even after a couple of victories, like, I'm really not convinced that a gold base is worth the early investment to do. But if you're thinking about doing Roach Ravager, if you're thinking about doing anything that is just costly and all in, gold base actually makes a lot of sense. And that might just be the way to go for Bly. ShoWTimE is, of course, a bit on the ropes, and I'm sure not loving the way that last game went for him, but we'll see if Bly tries to replicate it. Proxima Station is going to be a bit more difficult to pull off because the last map was a bit exposed. You know, Blood Boil kind of, I'm going to be honest, it's a terrible map in my opinion for a lot of different reasons, and one of the ones was the way Bly was able to abuse ShoWTimE's natural. However, taking it to this game, you can put a bunch of force fields down. Sure, Ravagers might break them one at a time, but you just keep putting down new force fields, and you can block out this ramp for a very long time. So, ShoWTimE might not be so worried about the same sort of attack, but still might be worried about an attack nonetheless, because it is, again, Bly. He likes to be aggressive. I'm sure Nurchio and Mana are probably getting a little bit antsy, though, and again, my apologies to them as this ran to game 5, which I'm not complaining about. I love the games. I just feel bad when players got to sit in their thumbs and wait for so long to play. We had tried an experimental format a while back where we had all the players play their matches and we would cast like from replays live, only trailing behind by like 30 minutes. So the players had zero downtime whatsoever, but I think the viewership reflected that it wasn't the best way to go about doing it, sadly. Also, another sub coming in. Twitch Prime welcomes aboard, obviously, GER to the Base Trade Brigade. Thank you for that sub, man. Overlord picked off. It's going to be a bit of a supply block. Blind not getting crazy good scouting, but this one actually scouts the 2 gateways on the left side.
Forces under attack.
Oh, Bly uses Abathur's voice. Fun fact. He didn't see the chrono on the Twilight Council. This Abathur is making me speak funny. This might be a problem for him. I think again, you see a Twilight Council, it's not that big of a deal. It's when you see the chrono on the Twilight Council, you have those red flags get raised. Riffbot, your voice sounds oddly human today. Oh, maybe I should reset it, and that's the real problem here. Anyways, for Bly, there's going to be a pretty big attack coming, and it's going to be Adepts paired up with Resonating Glaives, which is finishing any moments now. And worse than that, of course, is going to be a Warp Prism, not relying on pylons for slow warp-ins. I think with the Roaches coming out too, Bly should be able to deal with anything that ShoWTimE throws at him, but it's still going to be tough. Warp Prism makes these things very mobile, and going from the 3rd to the main, especially without full creep spread connecting them, is going to be a real pain in the butt here for Bly. I think the best thing ShoWTimE could do is actually draw units from the gold base to the main, gold base to the main, and back and back and back again. What is Nate doing in chat? I don't even intercept it. Intercepted, interceptors, Protoss. This is what I'm getting out of the conversation, at least. The Adepts cancel the transfer. Actually, I think this is a really good choice. You can kill hey, if you can't kill much, might as well kill a Spore Crawler. But unfortunately, this transfer back and forth is going to be a little bit difficult to pull off. The Warp Prism can, of course, carry several units around through it, but it cancels the transfer to elevator units down. Huh. This is interesting. He actually splits the Adepts through doing this too. Finds a really good spot behind the mineral lines. He buys a lot of time. But I don't know about that. I think just transferring away may have been the better choice. Yeah, either way, he's going to kill a Queen here. Bly's got a couple that are off creep chasing and licking their lips hoping to catch that Warp Prism. I love that he cancels only 2. The split is really cool. ShoWTimE's controlling this very, very well right now. That being said, it's still not killing Bly just yet. Bly is sitting on 38 drones, which is normally a pretty low count for 3 bases, but with one of those bases being gold, he's mining pretty happily. In fact, he's got too many drones at the gold, funny enough. Abathur, Ace Namgasm. Yo, I don't know if you guys saw, Wax Angel has been doing a really good job. Like, I don't know if he's just done this out of passion or he's being paid to, but he's been going out of his way to interview all the WCS Challenger players. And he did an interview with Namshur, and Namshur kind of makes a small reference back to when he was casting with us summers ago, and then also the Ace Namgasm emote. That was kind of funny. Namshur actually had a really good interview, and I liked reading what he had to say a lot. So I would recommend that one at the very least, because it does hit home. What with him having joined us on the channel for what felt like, I guess, like a summer internship. I guess it wasn't that long, but he was here long enough to make an impact. Gain some fans through BaseTradeTV. Vice versa, we probably got some of his fans who stuck around since then too. So 4th base coming down out of Bly, which is actually his natural. So funny enough, he'll have a really safe 4th base later, ideally. Don't love these overlords being where they are though. This is like asking to be supply blocked. Hey, random stalkers, come find me. Silly Protoss. Don't follow me, boys. It's a slow push through the middle for ShoWTimE, but he does clean up a lot of creep tumors. So it's going to take away some of that power from Bly, not just through actual movement, but through vision too. Hey, Shark Dog 58, thank you for the 17-month resubs. There's almost almost a year and a half of supporting one of the most entertaining StarCraft 2 streams. Woo! I'm glad you think that, man. I got low standards, But I'm glad you have high standards and enjoy the channel. So thank you. Can you Rifkin drop on the Nidus? No, it doesn't work. Oh, fuck. God. I know you guys are trolling me at this point, but it doesn't make me any less tilted about it. Spire on the way for Bly. We've seen it almost every single game. I think there was one game that didn't have a Spire. Maybe? I see the question mark. Bly plays around Spire really well. He plays Mutas really well. I think it's a good choice for him. But it's going to be tough to pull off. He's banking a lot of money. He's going to have enough to come out the gates with like 9, 10 Mutas maybe? It's all on that gas count, right? But ShoWTimE, he may have been caught off guard by this one game in the series. Hasn't been caught off guard since. I think it's still going to be tough though. Right now his anti-air is limited to like a couple of sentries and 2 Archons. Sentries are not good anti-air. Spoiler alert, guys. But Guardian Shield will reduce glaive worm damage by quite a bit. Depths of the main, on top of the drones. Once again, Bly loses one of his gases, which kind of sucks for what he wants to do. He ends up making a ton of Roaches and Ravagers, so not really Spire. That's unfortunate, because I really like the money it banked up, but he sees the army pushing and thinks I need units. So I don't think Roaches and Ravagers are the wrong choice or a bad choice, but they're not the muta choice. Is Taco Stuff trying to count to 10? Can we help Taco Stuff count to 10 with bits? Is that even possible? Probably not. I bet chat can't even count to 5 without bits. I dare you guys. Here comes the mutas now. He's seen the sufficient lack of anti-air to make him comfortable going mutas, I suppose. A lot of zealots revealed through that warp in, and of course the Archons. If the mutas are silly enough to fly on top of them and stack, then Archons are amazing anti-air. But you can usually even just split and magic box the Archons, and mutas gonna get away scot-free with a lot. It's gonna be tough. This is a good ground army for Bly, but again, the type of army definitely favors ShoWTimE in my opinion. A couple of Bly's Zone Crucibles missing the mark and hitting his units in the back line. He does take out the force fields and he continues to poke in. The auto attacks of the Ravagers shouldn't be undervalued either, but there's no upgrades for them. It's all in Lings. So I'm not sure at what point Bly decides to flood in with some Lings, but gold base has been mined out, so that adrenaline rush is gone. He tried to go for a counterattack with the mutas. Looks like a combination of overcharge and cannons catch him not paying attention, and he loses his mutas. Oh, God. Meanwhile, he's also losing the fight at home. ShoWTimE is just pushing through. A lot of Ravagers are almost dead, almost gone. No reason to pressure the gold base, to be honest. It's already mined out and not that important of a strategical resource anymore, but he kills the natural base. He kills the gold base, and he kills most of Bly's army, as well as deflects the attacking mutas. I think, all in all, ShoWTimE's coming out pretty much ahead in this fight. We had a new sub. We'll get to that in a second. Whoever you were, thank you so much. Just a blanket thank you. Force Field's not exactly stopping the army, but it does catch them. This Archon's on 2 health. Goes down. Another hatchery will die here shortly. Probes are pulled, so not a lot killed. This base is going to get shredded. Zealots have charge, so zipping and zooming and chasing. Bly's going to be down to under 40 workers for 2 bases mining. GG's get called. ShoWTimE will ultimately take the series 3-2 and advance on to the finals, where he'll wait for either Mana or Nurchio over there. I actually would be very happy with either of those guys going up against him. I think would make for a very good finals. But Pat22043 just Twitch Prime sub to us saying, love the stream, love Zombie Grub. Well, Zombie Grub's not here today, but thank you very much for loving the stream nonetheless. But okay, I guess we'll hop to a commercial break while I get the lobby set up. First map is going to be Sequencer, so we'll see you guys in a few with Nurchio versus Mana, Poland versus Poland.